Now we all know that Porsche's 718 Boxster and Cayman twins are pretty handy sports cars, and up until now in the current generation you can have either the standard Boxster or Cayman, or you can have the S in either model. Well, they've just added a GTS model as well. We had a GTS before in the old Boxster Cayman twins. It had a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine. Of course, with the current generation it's got a 4-cylinder turbo engine. Now with the GTS, they've upped the power output by 11 kilowatts, so it's putting out a total of 269 kilowatts. There's some other things. It rides lower for better handling. It's got a new look to the front end. There's lots of blacked out bits and pieces, and inside there's better seats. But anyway, that's enough about talking. Let's get out there and give it a drive. So the GTS is the top banana in the 718 range, in either convertible Boxster form or the fixed roof Cayman, which is actually a couple of grand cheaper. While it comes with plenty of extra gear, including the power increase from extra turbo boost, the 20-inch wheels, more supportive seats and lower active suspension, as usual, you can always spend more. The dual clutch PDK gearbox is a worthwhile addition, not only because for $6,000 more it takes over gear shifting duties, but it includes launch control software to lower that 0 to 100 time down to a sharp 4.1 seconds. Of course, you've got all the weight of the engine over the rear axle. This is a mid-engine Porsche after all, and grip is pretty sensational, as is traction. And you get an interesting sound from the new turbo 4-cylinder engine. It doesn't quite have the wail that the old 6-cylinder used to have at high revs, but there's no denying that there's a Porsche mill happening back there somewhere. Now, it's a little bit difficult to get in and out of because the seats are very heavily bolstered. But once you're on a twisty road or a racetrack, you really appreciate them. They're grippy, made from Alcantara, and they just hold your body perfectly because there's a fair bit of G-forces happening. So the GTS is obviously more hardcore than the 718S variants, and not just because it goes harder in a straight line. There's more grip, both from the tyres and a mechanically limited slip differential, and if you add it all together, that's enough to shave 2 seconds off the car's time around the legendary Nürburgring, or a full 16 seconds better than the previous Cayman GTS. But crucially, the 718's beautiful balance has been retained, so the GTS is still easy to drive fast, with plenty of front-end grip to minimise understeer, and if you dial out some of the electronics in Sport Plus mode and have it racetrack handy, the back end will do whatever the driver wants. Now I'm in the Boxster GTS version, which obviously enough is a convertible, so at the touch of a button, at speeds I think below 50 kilometres an hour, you can lift the roof like that, and you've got full open air motoring. That sounds pretty good. The crackle on the overrun, when you've got the roof open, you've got the sound of that engine behind you. Nothing quite like it. There's good visibility from inside, a decent amount of luggage room under the bonnet or atop the engine, so for a 2-seater sports car, the GTS is still pretty easy to live with. It probably would have been easy for Porsche to turn the 718 into a fire-breathing monster, but they've resisted that temptation, instead maintaining the mid-engine Sporty's somewhat benign but highly entertaining nature, and it's all the better for it.